Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In this video I'll be installing a cutout on this 2019 Silverado. Alright, let's check this out. This is an electric cutout. I used to have a manual one and that got boring quick, getting under the car every time to open it. This one's electric, and not only that, it has a remote control, so all you do is give it power and hook it up. You can weld it or you can clamp it on, which is what I am going to do, but I'm not going to do it the traditional way of using the double bolt band clamp. Instead, I'm going to use a single bolt one, and they're much stronger. They have a thicker gauge metal and they bite down harder. And I am also going to cut the pipe all around. I'll show you later. And that way when I clamp it, it will reduce the diameter. This is 3-inch. The truck on the 2019 is 2 3/4. So this is going to be a little bigger. You want to bite down. I am also going to use a gasket. I'll show you how I do that and make sure. Usually these leak when you use bands, so with this gasket is probably going to guarantee that it won't leak. Let me show you the remote. So this here is like a little relay box. This is what the remote communicates with. It has the power input, which is basically a cigarette lighter plug, which I'll be cutting so that I can wire into the truck directly with a constant 12 volts, so I can open it with the truck off or on. And then this I can mount it anywhere, probably zip tie it to a harness or somewhere in the fuse box area on the passenger side. That's the remote. This should be pretty cool. So let's get into it. To run the cable for the cutout, I'm going to access it through here. That accessory port is meant to run any wires that you want to add. I already cut it, so I'm going to snake like a 12 gauge or 16 gauge wire in there, catch it on the other side, then tape the plug for the cutout's cable, and then pull it, and then work on the other side, which should be by the fuse box. I just finished snaking this cable through it, and now I have to find it on the other side. Let's go. Well, that was easy. There it is. So there we go. So now I can run this to the fuse box, which is here on the side. Zip tie it to some of these harnesses or somewhere nice. And that's all for that part. Well, I have to tie the cutout's cable to this and then pull it through, but you get the picture. When I try snaking this plug through, it wouldn't fit. It'll go inside that nipple area, and I guess the actual opening in the firewall is too small, so I'm going to have to cut it, and then I'll splice it when I pull it back through. So there goes that. So I'm gonna snake this through and then catch it on this side and then put it back together. The cable is in, snaked it through. Now I catched it on the other side. Here. Now I can get to work. I'm gonna put this back together with this guy, and then route the cable to the cutout. Now to run the cable to the cutout, I'm going to follow the path of that silver wire loom right there. That leads back all the way to the back of the truck, passes right beside the muffler, so it will be perfect. I'm going to zip tie it, and that should be pretty easy to do. I'll show you from the bottom when I get there. I'm going to access the fuse panel. This guy comes out easy, just snaps out. And I already snapped this one out. It has 2 clips. This one's pretty hard to get out. And I'm going to hide the box, I guess the relay box for the cutout, in there. I'm gonna tie it to the cables, to the harnesses that are in there, and that should be good. There you go. This truck comes apart with clips completely. Like, you can cut this whole truck with those snapping clips. So now we have access to all that. Now I can clean up some existing wiring I had, and I might put this guy somewhere around there. Then connect to those available prongs here. That's constant 12 volts, which is good because the cutout, I want to be able to open it without the truck being on. And that should be it. I'm going to use a fuse. I have a 5 amp fuse in there. I think it takes less, but 5 amp should be good enough in case something gets shorted or something happens. I finished the wiring. There's my ground that I used before. I made that ground for a dash cam. I can link the video in the description if you would like to see that. Then I zip tied the ground for the cutout. I can make it a little nicer, but this is a good start. Then I tied the box to the harness, the car's harness there. And that's it. That's all there is. I tested it with a remote. I could hear the relay clicking, so it's good to go. Now the rest is putting this back and running the rest of the cable to where the cutout is going to be. Then for the exhaust cutting part. I'm cutting on V-shape, so when it goes up, it should seal pretty good. I'm going to do one couple more. Only one side because it has a gap. So I want to put a couple gap in. I'll do maybe. have this gasket maker. It's called a Felramic. I used this on my turbo car for the turbo flanges and the header, pretty much as a header gasket. This is pretty good stuff. There's a center layer. I don't know if I'll be able to focus on it. So anyway, there's the center has a metal. The outside is like a cork material, and I'm going to cut a strip so that I can wrap around the exhaust on the truck. So I'm gonna wrap it around, then slide this on it, and then clamp it. This is gonna wrap on the truck's exhaust piping, and then I'm gonna slide this over it and then clamp it. Now I'm preparing this exhaust tip to be welded. This is about a 4.5-inch outlet, and the reason I'm adding this to the cutout is because it gives it a deeper sound. You can test it out by putting it on the exhaust tailpipe. You can take it on and off, and you can tell, you can almost feel different sounds, deeper and richer, which I really like. So I'm adding it to the cutout here. Now let's see what it sounds like. I'm just going to do an idle, and this is already warm, so it's not a cold start. Let's hear it. It is closed right now. So it's just a normal idle. Now let's open it up. It's pretty cool. Close it. Opening it. Let's open her up a little bit. Sounds really good. That's what I'm talking about. I really don't know how well it performs in comparison. Since it's pretty loud, it kind of throws you off, but it sounds very nice. So there you go. That's the cutout. I really recommend it, especially if you have if you live in a community where you might care about your neighbors. Usually when I'm getting home, I close the cutout, and that way I can enjoy both being loud and being civilized. So that's all, folks. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos like these.